America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
Once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
Has nothing to do with the American people. They're all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Then Plus Care. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on May 13th, halfway through May. What's the weather like where you are? In Toronto, we have had, I guess Celsius wise, like 20 to 25 degrees over the last few days, which is about 60 to 75 degrees. The last few days have been absolutely beautiful, and they're not calling for any significant rain for at least another week. So we's enjoying this. People who love their gardening, they're in full flight. People enjoying the sunshine in their shorts, full flight. So it's all good. It's all good. So before we bring up the ladies, we got LaLa and Jill tonight. Aisha's not 100%. So we got 2 of the 3 prime people with us. Before we go any further, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. If you do it on YouTube, hit notification and subscribe. Like it anywhere else you're watching, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, a whole bunch of different places. So you know what? We are out for a good time, and there is so much going on news-wise. Before we get into the conversation topics, I'm going to bring in LaLa, Jill, and there'll be some things we chat about before we go into a deep dive, but let's bring them here. We've got Jill Jones. We've got LaLa. What is going on? What's going on?
It's great. I would have tweeted the show tonight, but I'm suspended again.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about that. We got to talk about this. Is the second time in a few
I'm on their radar.
They're targeting her. She's a private account.
It's a private account. And so for me to say that somebody's a bitch, I feel like they don't know how I speak or my vernacular with my followers and my friends. And I personally, find it really like they're trolling me. You're right. They are targeting me.
Jill,
Elon.
How long are you banned for? How long are you banned for this time?
It said a week and it could take longer. It's very, very vague this time, but it's okay. I've been thinking about really quitting Twitter because after seeing how much of the animal cruelty that they're allowing to feature without moderators stopping it. There have been some heinous things. I won't even mention them. I mean, heinous. These are like, if somebody is doing these kind of acts, they're potential serial killers or maybe active serial killers. They need to be arrested. They need to be sharing that information, and to find out that Elon doesn't care. It doesn't surprise me that Elon doesn't care about animals. He doesn't care about his own kids. So, I mean, he's trash, and so is his platform. And I don't know. I'm starting to think like we shouldn't be associated with it. Because one other thing, if you notice, the dregs of society are rising to the top. That's all you'll see. If you don't have your little check mark, you're going to see the worst people who believe that JFK Jr. is sitting in a coffee shop, or they believe that Hillary Clinton is wearing a mask because of an aging older woman. I mean, I never knew that America had so many fucking crazy people. Like they're really like it's freaks me out, right, Lala? I mean, they're
definitely.
crazy.
And I have seen such a change in Twitter since he's taken over. All I see is garbage. And if I see one more tweet, I don't even follow this chick, you know, MGT or whatever her name is. This like she mad at the whole world for something. Somebody please get off that tap she sits on every day. But you know, that's all I see is garbage. Anything that he wants to push, he's pushing.
He is. It's like this psycho kind of drill. Talk about propaganda, talk about indoctrination. I mean, there are people literally looking at a picture like right now, this line I have here, Hillary Clinton, same thing. These weird incel guys with shooter energy on the page. And I say shooter energy because many people know that I will go into stores and if somebody has shooter energy, I'm out because I just feel like they're just weird. They're creepy. And these are the creep-tastic people all over Twitter. They need to call it creep-tastic now because they think things like this would be ask. Hillary Clinton has been somewhere and executed, y'all. And they're following what's happening at Guantanamo. These people have no lives. I mean, it's crazy how many mental people are out there. And we're laughing, but I don't laugh anymore. I'm like, right now, I think I'm going to roll up my window because I don't know who the hell in America is listening. That's how bad it is. They're nuts. Nuts.
Oh, I have to agree with that. Somebody today tweeted, you would think that all of us are angry at one another and we are a terrible nation if you just stay on social media. Like, look out the window, bro. You first of all, you black. You are target. What are you talking about? Who told you this lie? Because you know, I don't go out if I don't have to go out.
I know. Kind of sickos. Real sickos. Well, so I'm about ready to cut out there. They, you know, I don't really care anymore. You know, they've stopped me. And to be honest, my life has enhanced itself every day. I wake up and it's not the first thing I'm doing, opening up to look at Twitter. I really feel like, you know what? This is my life, and my life is not going to go down with a bunch of white supremacists sitting up here giving a f- about any of their Looney Tune stuff. These people shorten their lifespan because they're so crazy. I ain't trying to catch that.
Nope.
All right. Well, and this is just our opening salvo. We just are kicking stuff around that's going on today. Just another lovely day in America and Jill Jones's America. You know what? That would be a great show. Jill Jones's America. There's your show.
Yeah, and LaLa told us she's tracking all of the bootlickers, Trump bootlickers coming, the Patriots, right?
Yeah. So LaLa, tell us. We're not going to be getting deep into it, but what's been going on today? It's another march to Washington.
Oh yeah, it's another day in America. Just another day. It's just another Saturday. As we speak right now, there is a group called the Patriots Front. They are obviously white supremacists, and they are very proud to say that they're white supremacists. They are formed out of Texas, and the leader is Thomas Ryan. And they'll tell them what they're marching against today. But the thing is, you definitely know them by the tattoos, and also the they went back to the let's cover our faces thing, you know. Yeah. Nowadays, most people don't really worry about that anymore. They just take the hoods off and just march in the streets. But these people are so extreme. I'm pretty sure it's your bankers and your local governors and school board people who are covering their faces. But no telling what they're doing. But they're based out of Texas. Surprise, surprise. And they're ready to march for anything that goes against what their principles are, which is whiteness.
Right.
Wow. Oh boy. And jumping back to the whole area of the impact of social media, was it about 2 Thursdays ago in Toronto, I went to this event here called Social Media and Young Minds, a Dove event to address youth mental health crisis.
I saw you online there.
Yeah. And okay. And, I have to say, I do some stuff that's sponsored by Dove. Got to say that. I was a little disappointed because, the content was fantastic,
right?
But they had it in a very nice place, et cetera, et cetera. I'd say there would be about 200 people there, and 90% women.
Yeah, I saw you were in a sea of women.
And it was a little disappointing because they had a panel there. The lady who was the MC or hosting the panel, a lady named Tracy Moore, who I guess people in the US, she would be compared to like an Oprah Winfrey in Canada. She hosts a daily show, etc. And all the panelists were women.
Wow.
And it's I'm just putting it out there that social media has impact, good and bad, on young boys and young girls.
They're in crisis. And you can thank your Canadian crazy nut job, Jordan Peterson, the psychologist that he's always criticizing dudes about cheating and being good guys and finding one woman and the old ways of like Christianity. But it's so interesting that everybody that follows him can't follow his words. He's a loser as far as like his following. None of them can do it. They actually subscribe to somebody that they can't even live up to what his ideals are. Men are in crisis globally in North America, I believe. There is something really going on in a bad way. And it was really crazy to see how many women were there. I thought it was fantastic, the female involvement, but I was really proud of you for being involved.
Yeah, it was a really good event, and more power, and I appreciate it. I just a little disappointed, and the funny thing is, the gentleman I was there with, who's the lead for the project, then when they had Q&A, I had to leave, but he asked, what can dads do in regards to this? And if he didn't ask that question, I don't know if dads would have been mentioned at all during the whole event.
No, really?
Well, it was so women focused.
That's not really great,
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And what I'm actually going to have a conversation with them when the time's right, saying, you know what, it would be great to have a panel like this, fathers and boys.
Totally.
Just a thought.
Yeah. We're in this process with the young minds that we're consuming so much, whether it be on these phones about shopping, buying things, making people feel less than. But then there's also this consumption that's eroding the mind because people can't seem to put this thing down. It's for entertainment. It's for everything. It's really changing the shape. And if we don't really call this an emergency 101, we're going to have a bunch of like really brain dead people in about 20 years. It's going to, I'm very curious how fast it's going to cycle through mental breakdowns. And
okay, so this is just interesting. We'll get into our main conversation topics, but I've just taken a look. This is Canadian information, suicide in Canada, and by deaths per suicide per 100,000 population. This is 2019. It's a little dated, but it's probably the most up to date for young people 10 to 19. 4.9 per 100,000 girls, 7.4 young boys. 20 to 34, 6.8 young women, 21.4 young men. I could go, but in every age demographic, 10 to 19, 20 to 34, 35 to 49, 50 to 64, 65 to 79, and 80 and older, men always. And the lowest gap between male and female is between the 10 to 19. Every other, it's at least, let me look quickly, 2, 3. It's at least 3 times the gap.
Wow.
Life is hard right now, and it's going to get harder, it seems.
So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you to LaLa and Jill to listen, because I just wanted to put it out there in that regard, that and if I know there's a text line in the US that you can call, and also in Canada we have phone lines. Please, if you know, whether yourself or if you know someone, please get them Now, Cinema Canella says, oh gosh, Jill, brain dead people in 20 years old. No, please no. We're going to need those brains in our senior days.
Sure.
And
we in trouble.
yes, so Canella goes, hello, everyone. Hello,
it's a
hello,
human
hello.
catastrophe. It's a global catastrophe, what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
But more so in America, because the plans that we have are so much easier for people to access than in other global countries. They cost a little more.
And Black Beauty says, praying for Aisha tonight in her absence. No problem. She may be watching. Hopefully she is. But if she's not feeling well, that is okay. Let's get to some conversation topics. We got some fire tonight. Strict rules come into force at U.S.-Mexico border as Title 42 immigration ban expires. Who wants to jump in on this?
Well, my question is, why do we always wait to the last minute? Why does it always have to be a crisis? Everything about immigration and people coming over, because there were some people I heard who said, hey, look, when this expires, I'm just going to jump over this fence and hit this river, and I'm already over there. And they mean that. But I don't have a problem with people coming to America as long as they come in the right way. And I know that's going to piss some people off. I don't care. Because you can't just come over here and just take over and take all the resources that we have, and our own people can't even get the resources, and we have to deal with it. No, I mean, why do we wait to the last minute? But then again, what's not working in government? What is working rather? Nothing.
Jill?
I agree with LaLa on that. I think that, this is not going to be a popular answer for many people from me, but I wrote all of my thoughts on this today because I was like, what the heck is going on? It's like, I feel like the greed of the American people have manifested, this problem being one, all of them really, guns, poverty, racism, homelessness, because we are the richest country in the world. And how sick is it that we didn't even have a proper health care, and people are okay with that. And then the one that we do have now is totally in lockstep with the pharmaceutical industry. And it's all like, let's just usher everybody to their death and we're all going to get paid on every single body here. But what bothers me about this whole thing is that people who are coming here, I don't think they should be allowed to come. We're dealing with climate change, which we know is going to cause people to migrate because of lack of resources in the future. And I think that they need to work better with like the United Nations to really start talk about these migratory patterns that will happen. We know migratory patterns exist based upon the changes in the earth, based upon any of us doing our own DNA research, we can see it. But what really bothers me the most is that, I don't know if you guys remember, last year in 2022, Kamala Harris made a statement that we, America, were giving the Central America $1.9 billion to help their infrastructure, help people to get jobs. Microsoft went there. What other companies? Agro America, Codal, Fundación Terra, Gap, who the wears Gap anymore, Millicom, Pantaleon, Sanmar, Unifi, Visa, Yazaki, all of these initiatives and corporations were able to go there and hire people and to create programs. It is now up to $3.2 billion so far that we have given. This is like the whole, like how we land, how much more conquering of Central America do we have to do? Didn't we learn anything from Nicaragua, El Salvador? The fact that they're telling us now that El Salvador is safer than America, for me, whether it be that they've killed other journalists, and they're not allowed to say, but I would believe that that's probably so. First of all, when we deport people, I said this years ago, they need to look at that chain where people who get deported, they don't come through this way anymore. I just heard from a little bird, few of them come on private jets funded by different people, and then they enter through Atlanta. And there are car services and companies that come and take these people and drive them to the destinations they want. People have entered 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times back into America. These are because you
was deported 4 times.
How can you pay a border guy $18 an hour? Who does that? These are serious jobs. They're dangerous jobs. They get threatened all the time. This is enough of this. And seriously, the whole border should just be shut down. My question is, stop allowing Mexico, Honduras, all of them to keep playing or give us our money back. $3.2 billion. Go yourself, because all your people are still coming here. Not good enough. And I say, on the strength of that, the only people who should be given priority for refugee status right now are the Sudanese, because they're the ones going through something. And for me, the rest of them can go to, and you know, a little bit of that includes a little bit of Ukraine, because they have enough money now, they can send their people anywhere. But this is too much. We can't do it. They've not taken care of people here. Yeah, I would like to take care of a bunch of people in my house. Guess what? I can't afford it. And when you can't afford it, don't keep, what, I'm going to keep piling up a bunch of people. And let me just address one thing. I'm not trying to hog the thing. We have a serious situation here. People want to bitch about the immigrants coming, rich people particularly, but they always got them watching their kids for no money. We also have people who want to build fancy buildings and stuff. And guess who's working on them? The illegal aliens. They've been doing this for years. Donald Trump being one of them. Stop being hypocrites, guys. You created the system based upon greed. And now you want to sit back and be like, oh, the Democrats need to fix it. Yeah, you need to stop it. Hire people but guess what? Ain't nobody got no skills. Ain't nobody can hardly make a pair of like a rubber band souffle, let alone, you know, trying to build a building. It's ridiculous here. We have the hypocrisy and what's going on in this country. Yeah, they only want people here when it suits them. But one thing about how the residual effect of slavery, how it held over in white America, is they believe that service is servitude, no matter what, and that you should be happy to be here and serve me. They've got housekeepers watching their kids, and then the next day turn around and say, I hate those people. You hate people that you allow to watch your kids and pay them nothing. You know, if white people could bring back slavery in America, they would. And to be honest with you, that's what they're doing. A certain few select ones.
They're setting it up just that way. And to tag on to that, because you brought up a really good point that is actually happening down in Florida. DeSantis did all this. Every day he's signing about 5-6 things that just me off, and it's just going through. Why? Because the people voted him in. People say, why does he keep getting to do this? Because they're the ones who voted him in. So anyway, there was a whole site. This whole community was being built by Mexicans. They were illegal, and they know that they're illegal. They say that they're illegal, but they're the ones who are building the buildings. And because DeSantis signed the stupid law, they can't work over here if they don't properly document this. Well, guess what? Nobody's working on the building because they don't have anybody to work on the building. So now the building is just sitting there looking stupid. So why don't you give these people the opportunity? Because those are the hard workers. They do want to get documented. Those on that site want to be documented. You know, instead of punishing them that way, then offer them to do it the proper way. I'm tired. I don't want nobody else coming over. I'm sick of it. But the ones who are here should have the opportunity.
But here's the thing. I have lived like in a couple of countries, and there's no way, and I did it the right way. I could never go and get a job in France on the low. Maybe other people can. Polish workers I know in London have done stuff like that. It's very difficult because there was a penalty that the employers pay. Here's the other question. Why isn't the IRS on top of that game? They know the racket and they know what's going on, but they look the other way because the reality is they let developers get away with murder, which is why we have Donald Trump. And aside from that, landlords let people rent buildings. You can't do that in Japan. I can't go somewhere and rent without showing the landlord that I have a job there or I have a job somewhere. But they do it and they look the other way. The greed of this country, even in every agency, to look the other way for rich people and all this stuff is why we're where we are. And it may be a tough pill to swallow, but it's a pill we need to swallow at this moment, because it's like having a party and everybody has just come into your party. And then there just needs to be a minute where you bar everybody out because you're like, yo, we got to get our straight before we can help somebody else. That's we've got to. We can't bring anybody here when we can't help ourselves. It's wrong.
True.
Well, I forgot to do this at the beginning, so LaLa did it a few minutes ago. So I just, she reminded me about the trademark, right? Maybe I should say this is a signal to end the conversation. Our new signal. Okay. Cinema Canella goes, those hard workers are the ones giving us the construction and the veggies we eat.
Well, it's time that young people who don't have jobs start having to go and do that. It's really time.
No, I can make a lot of money on TikTok.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so true. But I really just don't believe in that anymore. The agricultural passes that we give to Mexican workers, people do those. These are people who hide out when it goes into development buildings. They're in New York. They're all over the United States, and they are making money, and it's under the table. And the IRS should know when they're dealing with developers how that money is passed. In fact, they do. Those kind of workers aren't getting agricultural passes. In fact, they're here illegally, and so are the housekeepers. And frankly, they should all be sent home, because then what happens is they end up having anchor babies. And guess what? Then they get on city council. And guess what? Then they decide that they don't like Black people and they're going to crowd Black people out of their neighborhood. Right now, the main priority of people in America that need to be served are Black people. They have never gotten back from all the dirt that's been thrown on them. Sorry. It's just the way it is. And the Spanish people and everybody, it tears down. Sure. But we don't need any more of them here.
It's interesting. And before we came on live with this conversation topic this evening, I just, like in the last half an hour, saw a video, little snippet of a number of Black Americans in Chicago who are really upset about this.
They should be.
Saying that, hold on a second. These, we love them and all that, but these people are getting more for their lives, and they've never lived in this country than me and my ancestors who have lived for hundreds of years.
A landlord will rent to them over a dark-skinned Black person. Let's just be straight up. So what are we looking at? They don't need to be here if they're not legal. And it's really, really true. It impacts us on such a level sociologically that we're not even aware, where it comes down to why Letitia doesn't get a job over, Maria. It's very because there's natural inborn biases. I'm not trying to be a bitch about this, but it really happens. It just
it's fact. Those are just facts.
And it's not like we're like, oh my God, but it's like you see the numbers coming in. The only reason they're bringing the bodies in is because they can get agency money from like the feds, but it has to stop because it's not right. We have to be able to take care of who is already here. There's no other country in the world that I know where it's this easy to just kind of make it. And I'm going to tell you something, not to be a real cow, and I can't stand Donald Trump, but he wasn't wrong when he said, we're not getting the best and the brightest. He wasn't wrong. I mean, honestly, if we have to keep taking trade workers from another country, why not then spend money on putting woodworking back in school or teaching our kids trade and helping them to go to a trade school? That's just common sense to me. Why do you keep looking elsewhere for the people that you have here that you need to fix? What are we just going to treat our people like garbage? And I think the Democrats need to become aware of this without shaming us into feeling this way. You guys are so tone deaf to what people are thinking. That's what's crazy. The Dems, nobody wants to say it. They want to feed us all day on TV about we like immigrants. They should all come here. Now, let me tell you something at the sit down barbecues, what's really being said. Let's just get real. I'm not going to be ashamed into this. I can't just roll up into Canada because I want to. That's just it. But we gave these people $3.2 billion to build their infrastructure and create jobs. And guess what? Their government is pocketing the money and still letting them come here. So off.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Jill, put your feelings into it, Ms. Jill. Put your yes, you weren't here last week. So
I don't know if it is my feelings as much as it's just a necessity. You know? It's a need. It's something that I feel terrible that there's little babies and whatever, but you know, to be manipulated constantly, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. Because then I resent you coming over here, 9 months pregnant, walking through. There were African people who have walked. For me, I'd see them first.
Okay. All right. LaLa, you want to add anything before we?
No, because it's going to tie into our next conversation anyway.
All right. No worries. So next up, an individual a few years ago, we would have never thought be on CNN, did a town hall with CNN with what's her name? The lady on the morning show on CNN. Caitlin Collins. So ladies, any thoughts about the town hall with 45 this week?
I didn't watch, and I'm not going to, and CNN will never be on my list to watch ever again. The story has really come out how they let everything go toward Trump. The whole thing was staged. They told people that they couldn't boo. They were only to clap. They were only supposed to do certain things to make him happy. What kind of town hall is that? I'd like to know. And Anderson Cooper, dude, I'm going to need you to just step your little right on up out of there with all this commentary that you do. We gotta do things like this. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. So you have just compromised yourself and you played us. Y'all all played us because now y'all really trying to get Tucker Carlson in there and you're working really, really hard to do that. And so what you've done is you've set the stage. You brought Trump. Now you bring in the other garbage and you're going to subscribe to the garbage. And then you want us to still support and watch you. No, sir, I will not.
Okay, before we go any further, we're broadcasting this segment live on Instagram. So hello, Tony Benzini, and hello, Care One SCCPR. And Tony says it was a joke. It was for his campaign and the audience, and had nothing but Republicans.
Well, in my opinion,
he just lost the case about rape, and you still let him come on.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the case in the next conversation.
It wasn't CNN, it's Jerry Springer, and it just happened right in time. Jerry, God rest his soul, the mayor of Cincinnati passed away a week ago. And
That's
it's
true.
So ironic that we got to witness everything that Jerry Springer had been telling us about America. And it was there all along. These are the demographics that these politicians look at. That's the audience, and they exist. And it's frightening, and it would be crazy how we used to dismiss that. This man made millions and millions of dollars on these types of things. And Chris licked or whatever his name, Licky Lick, I don't know. He is just like Jerry Springer. He is a white man who wants to make money, because he knows at the end of the day, none of this is going to affect him. He'll still be rich. His kids will still go to school. They'll eat. He doesn't care. Selling out everybody, it doesn't matter. Why don't we start giving our time and our money and our attention to people that we think care about us? Because network TV people don't. They'll sell you out in a minute. The minute they see the ratings falling, these Joy Reid, she won't be on TV. Lemon, they got rid of him. They are telling you what they want. And even if it's these pseudo Nazis, first of all, we got to stop labeling people things with things that aren't as strong, because that's why they get a lot of headroom here. Nazis. Trump is playing with fire in all the games. Nobody wants to say, they're definitely fascists and they're definitely moving in that direction. But there are some truths that he knows how to shake in the House of America, and he knows how to exploit it. And Caitlin Collins should have been prepared to fact check him. And she's an eager, ambitious, opportunistic 29-year-old woman who I don't know who's, I've said it before, but seriously, come on. That was ridiculous. There are many other journalists who could have done that. Many other. And if she didn't, because at the end of the day, the patriarchy exists. We just found that out because Chris, whatever, passing it off like this was, feminism, woman, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't. And they wanted to make money. And I'm sure they're going to split it with Trump at the end and give him his cut because that's all this is about. It's disgusting.
Okay. So before we go any further, Mistro_7 joined on IG Live. Care1 STCPR said, OMG, this is bad about now that we have a Geritol election. He also said, when Jerry Springer makes sense, we have problems.
Yeah.
Obscure_scholar, thank you for joining in. Tony said he only have people that he know he can control the scenario. And Tony Benzini is having chuckles emojis about Jill's most recent commentary, which I'm not going to repeat, but she's enjoying it. So anything else about this? It's just so interesting. 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't have seen anything like this happening. And I hear that
right now, everything is ridiculous. Nothing makes sense. You need to think for yourself, people. No, here's my thing. Listen, I don't subscribe to everything I see online. I just don't. I have to really digest it and look into things myself because we have a tendency to immediately get angry at something when we don't know the whole story. Sure. Now, some things we do know, we already know what that is, but there are a lot of things that we tend to get angry at, and we don't even go and do the research to see if it's true or not. We are also being doomspeople to our own self by not going to make sure that and fact checking things. When things are wrong, we need to stand up against them. But we also need to make sure that we know why we're doing that. Don't just fall into the hoopla, what people tell you and what they're showing you. Because obviously CNN is showing us who they are. Who they say was Angela, when people show you who they are. So we know who they are. They want money. They want the money. They don't care about us. Everything comes down to money. So fact check everything that you're angry about.
I agree.
I just want to jump in really quickly. T_more_, thanks for joining. And Jeff Edelman Fitness, long time no chat. That guy is in shape. So I didn't say what you're watching here. I didn't we'll say it again. You're catching a bit on IG Live of State of Things with Aisha, Jill and LaLa. Jill Jones and Laura Lala Key are bringing it. They're talking about the CNN town hall with former president, 45 this week. If you want to catch the full conversation, especially live, go over to the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube. Sorry to interrupt, Jill. Continue.
Yeah, I think that, the interesting thing that seems to now be happening, there's this fatigue that's going on with seeing him on television or seeing him on anything and hearing his voice, but seeing still how much people are still tuned in. I think that there's and the calamities that are happening because it's like they're hitting us at all ends. He and Kevin McCarthy are clearly talking. So what's happening is we're going to have June 1st come right on our back. We've got all this happening. It's like being in a football. I don't even know football. I know soccer, but you've got this tsunami coming. And suddenly when you look at the Democrats and seeing the petty that they want to argue about, like picking their battles, which are pathetic. I don't, let some things go. Like I meant, let's take the border and put it aside and stop laying down on the railroad tracks for that, because we need you all to kind of like get this moving. The serious thing, I'm not going to die on the hill of immigrants. I don't give a what you say. I don't really give a I'm not going to talk about, they need to come in from Mexico. I don't care. That's not my life. I don't want it. I don't need it. Because there's another part of me that then sometimes looks at Donald Trump when I'm like totally delirious and going, well, I guess I'm going to have to just get on the good foot if he's going to get back in. And I'm going to have to start taking care of my money and where I'm going to put this and make my plan Bs, because I don't want to wake up every day. I don't even want to look at Twitter every day. I don't want this monitoring of some left wing who then want to go so left that they just don't make any sense. It's like, come on, come back and find the ground to get here. Don't take it all the way. We got to get here to knock it off, but they don't know a street fight. And when they do, they never stick together. You got Katie Porter running against Adam Schiff. What a selfish little. It's like, this is not the thing to do. Although Adam Schiff, what are you doing, man? Do you really need to be a senator? Point higher. Bye. It's time. You guys didn't crack the code. He got in. And as far as I'm concerned, that's an F.
Yeah, that's right.
It's an F.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore because I want to live my life as most of us want to. I don't want to see the crazy everywhere, but all they've been doing is elevating it. And Trump has been elevating the scum around him. He did it. And it's quite remarkable. I mean, it's here. They're investigating Hunter Biden over that man's sons who basically sold Khashoggi for $2 billion and got his killed. What information did Khashoggi have that would have rocked the world? Child, y'all, really?
Yeah, this is worse than Olivia Pope's. What was that show that?
Scandal.
Yes.
I mean,
is there somebody who runs B16? Is this like being planned? Because you gotta, some days I wake up and go, why are they deliberately destroying America? Like, why? It's like a plan. Like, are these people this stupid? Because this is falling off the wheels, and we are the third world nation. So we're going to sit here and you're going to talk about people who can barely take a subway somewhere, and we're going to like about how the border guys can't get these people from climbing over to 20,000.
Yeah.
What happened to our military? Like, really? Yeah. How many people y'all been fighting in Afghanistan? 3?
So let's catch up here on IG. Fitness IQ says hello. We also have Peter Walt. I am Peter Walters. Good to see you. Long time no see, Mr. Walters. Tony Benzini. She is leaning in. She says, I wish the Democrats would find someone that was younger and beat 45. Tired of these old males thinking about running for president.
Yeah. I hear you.
All right.
You know, but that's not the plan, is it? That's not how this is supposed to plan. And it really makes you wonder. I mean, also Kissinger, this is going to be 100 years old. This is what's so funny. They have really great health care, guys. They'll outlive us. It isn't just old. They got an inroad to something. And we could be dealing with Donald Trump for the next 30 years.
Oh, we probably will his family for generations to come.
Look, Murdoch is 100, essentially.
Right.
The whole point is they don't go away. And they still, I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not wishing death on anybody, but it's a curiosity. If anybody's doing some switch changes and facial masks, it's those old dudes, these old geezers.
Okay. Well, we're going to jump off of Instagram, IG Live, if you want to catch more of this conversation. So Tony Benzini, thank you. Well, first time, I don't know if we've ever connected or collaborated on IG before, but great to have you. Fitness IQ, always. I spoke with you this afternoon. If you want to catch more of this live conversation, as Van Halen said, right here, right now, go over to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and catch that conversation. We're going to sign off on IG Live, and we're going to be saying goodbye, G Live. All right, let's go. Next conversation topic, continuing about 45. Jury finds 45 sexually abused columnist E Jean Carroll.
Surprise. Y'all stupid, still believing that he didn't do it. Listen, I know she ain't the best mentally, but then again, guys, hey, being someone who survived it herself, you're not always in a mental place You're
True.
just not. You really over it. Okay, I'm gonna be real honest about it. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Really, and you never know when it's gonna come back and smack you upside the head.
Right.
So, this lady is traumatized. I believe she had every right to sue this man, but let me tell you, he don't give a, because he came out the next day still talking about he didn't know this woman, and now she can sue him again for defaming her again. Do you see how he doesn't care? And his followers don't care. Why? Because he was on CNN the next day and y'all was giving him the platform. And there are so many other cases against him. I put something in our private thread, and I don't know if we're going to talk about it on this show, but I do want you to please look up the fact that this man is not innocent. This is not the first time that he's done this, and he has done it to young children. So he is a pedophile.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but there's documentation, court documentation. Y'all need to be looking it up, because this man is not that innocent. Now, I'm not saying it's just him. We're just talking about him right now. There's meaning behind this, but I don't. And if you ask me, 5 million wasn't enough. That's how I feel.
Jill?
I mean, I was not a believer that she was going to pull it off. I thought it was crazy that she tried it for after how many years, and I was wrong. I mean, good on her. She had more tenacity than I ever would have, and more bravery than I would have. I think that it was wonderful that the jury was made up of 9 men and I guess 3 women. So that spoke a lot to who was really listening and how they felt about it. And I think the prosecutors must have done an amazing job in delivering really what happened to this poor woman. But I honestly feel that, and I was going to say something and I lost my train of thought. I'll have to look at my notes because I think that when she tries to get her money, the $5 million, that she's not going to be able to collect, because we already know he's changed his name into different corporations and companies, and she'll never be able to collect the money. That's just not going to happen, because all people in his world, rich people do this. They end up creating another company that by the time she petitions for that money, it's going to be another 3 years or 2 years before they get to court. And then when the time they get there, that company will be defunct or won't have any money. It'll be bankrupt or near bankruptcy. So yeah, I don't know, unless they figure out how to attach it to an asset, which I think he must have changed all of the names. But what I'm hoping is that they can simultaneously piggyback on the timing of all these things that he's doing, because he's got running court cases. So we know he's changing his names on operating agreements. Probably somebody got a full-time job that's like a 6-figure job just doing that, like keeping up with, let me change him over here. He's not going to be the managing director. Let's make him a such and such, So I think that if she can capture that, good on her, but it's going to be hard to get that money.
They've already put together, what do you call it? They've already put together I'm drawing a blank, where they're countering that, saying that they don't, they don't believe that this was an unfair trial.
Yeah,
so they've already put that together.
I think that every time they should change this. Like when somebody reaches this level with there's so many simultaneous lawsuits and there's such
appeal.
Not just the appeal. I think that there should be immediately assets that are up on the table for auction immediately, without blocks, without anything. It's like as soon as that comes through that you're suing him for this crime or whatever, that something should be already on the block that he could lose. That's it. Assets are already evaluated. There's valuation on a building, and they say there's, this is 5 million or whatever, but that he can't make any moves around that. It's up to the judge to freeze the activities of what he's doing to protect his assets. And I don't know if they had that or if they have that in these cases, but I do believe that when you go into civil suits, you know, OJ Simpson got away with that. And the other thing is Donald Trump lives in Florida. That's why the Brown family could never collect from OJ Simpson, because he lives in Florida. And that's the same with why Donald Trump has a residence in Florida, because you can't take his personal assets.
Nope, you cannot. He's put himself in a position to be protected at all costs. But he's always done that. That's not just coming about. I mean, the casinos, the everything. He's always protected himself.
From what I mean, he's a good businessman like that.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. There you go. But
I mean, don't forget, today they had a raid in one of his buildings where some Russians were. And so who had, and everybody's saying if the FBI finds any kind of documentation that's classified, that could be like really bad for him. But, you know, he does know how to wipe his own, maybe not everybody else's, but Trump wipes his with everybody else's hands and toilet paper. He doesn't even touch his own. There, everybody would just die on the, you know, wire for him. But that's how good he is. That's why he's when he goes one day, and whoever writes about this, whoever that wonderful person who's going to do all this research and write what this was about, whoo, bless him.
That'll be quite a book.
It'll be quite a book.
I read it. That'll be one I read.
I know right now, maybe it's the book that's at Barnes & Noble. There's a book right now that people are buying for $45 and they don't know what it is. They think it could be Taylor Swift. They think it could be BTS.
What?
He knows that's this new marketing. Yeah. Nobody knows who the author is even. And they'll release the author in the next couple of weeks in June. And then the book comes out, I think, the end of June or July. $45, and people are just paying for it. Ordering a book, they don't know what it is. Interesting strategy.
The more I know, the less I understand.
On that.
The more I know, the less I understand.
500 pages, though. That's what I want to say. It's a 500-page book.
So let me ask, do either of you think we'll be alive to see any money go to E Jean Carroll?
No.
So then does this verdict have any impact on 45?
No, this was rich people's stuff. This was rich. She's rich. He's rich. Everybody's rich. They're all just going to like rich around, richy rich. You know, that's just rich people's arguments. The whole world right now is one big rich person's argument. Huh?
It's like the snake. It's a whole vicious cycle.
Yeah. I don't think she'll be alive to see it. And I don't even think he will be, you know?
Wow. So what was the purpose of the trial?
Because that's how rich people are, you know, it's pride. You know, my mom, as I've mentioned before, sadly had been raped. But our family didn't deal with it that way. So her family didn't deal with it that way, because there's things that happen and, but you deal with it, but rich people gonna rich. And we're all up in it. I'm not trying to be flippant about her thing. She's very lucky. She was able to get a case heard and had the money to deal with it and withstand it. Many women are not so lucky or fortunate. Her case will not, sadly, change any of that for any other woman.
No, because like I said, like we've said it many times before, his followers are rooted in him. I don't care if he came out and shot one of them in their head. Oh, you didn't see that? That's
it's pretty bad. It's almost like I feel like they are demons, like I'm watching a movie and they put in demons. Like these are the demonic behavior, and they're at some point. What made me the most angry about CNN, and not to bring them back into it, is the fact that they're actually catering to this now. This is dangerous. This is like if Hitler had a TV show at some point during, putting people on trains. CNN would have been there filming everybody having to go on the train and go away to Auschwitz or Dachau or wherever. And that's how sick Chris Licht is. Sick that he would think that the sovereignty of his own country is enough to exploit the democracy for a few coins. It's like the question is, wow, you're a real fucking weasel. Like, you're a weasel man. And I don't know anybody who would be, why is anybody you so you could procreate? Why? Any of them, to be honest. I look at all of them and go, oh, why? Why are they having children or being allowed to in this scheme of things? But the audience that night, behaviorally, was disgusting.
Very. They were told to
I mean, if I were a cameraman, if I had to work that night, I couldn't have even let them in there. They are vile human beings. I mean, honestly, they were physically in a location, guys. That much filth was sitting together. That's gross. And Caitlin Collins.
What we're discussing is, look at how all of our topics tonight, they don't even have to be separate topics. They're all tied in. It's all a cesspool of tar and dirt and garbage, and it's nothing being done about it.
It's a cesspool of why America is not an aspirationally wonderful utopia that I thought the founding fathers were trying to make. Yes, they had their flaws, but you know, we've got people who actively go on Twitter and sexually molest children on there. If those, and they do, go become a moderator, you maggot brain people. Go do it. Go see how long you last in that job. You'll want to kill yourself afterwards, because it is the hardest job to place in America. It is so mind-blowing to think that the people who are moderators need psychiatrists on staff to talk to them afterwards. And Elon is too cheap to talk about it. We've had people murdered on Twitter. Moderators have talked about it. We've had people on Facebook as well, killing animals. They put a kitten in a blender. So this is what we have going on in America. And you mean to tell me that I have to give a about those people? No. In fact, I look at all of them and I think what deranged incels they are. We have incel men. They're incels. A woman wouldn't touch them with a stick, and they're pontificating all over, and they float to the top. They are disgusting. So when I talk to you about walking in somewhere and you sense a man who's got shooter energy, you better get your ass out of there as fast as you can, because you can smell them. And it's mainly a lot of men in this country. They're a mess. There are kids in America that have blood stations in their elementary schools. Blood stations to teach them how to do a tourniquet and how to run. And Americans think that's okay. American people are okay with this. So to be honest with you, there are 75 million nut jobs in this country. Anybody who voted for him is a nut job. I'm sorry. You're a lunatic and you need to be locked up somewhere. Disgusting. And if you don't think you're a nut job, you're borderline. You're headed
right. Right, that's right.
Be straight up. I don't need to have friends who voted for him. I don't even need to know you, because I immediately go, oh, wow. Because that's just not normal. That's not normal. It's not how the rest of the world, people who travel and meet other people. And if I want to say one thing about countries, they need to stop and shut their borders to American people coming there.
To Americans, yes.
Yeah, that. Give a whole test on their psychology before you allow any American to walk in. And England's not doing so hot either. Because they're all from the same crop. Sorry to bring in the old crop routine, but this is called it is a karmic circle about the bad deeds that this country was founded on. And they're looking at the consequences of what they sowed. They are reaping what they sow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's move on to our next conversation topic, shall we? Talk about interesting things going on. Representative George Santos charged Jill by Justice Department in federal probe.
I don't know why that gave me so much joy. I just enjoyed watching it. I mean, I knew.
I know.
But sometimes you just have to see things the way that they are. I was just so happy to see them leave his little stupid out of there.
I know.
I was so glad.
I was expecting Robin Williams in La Cage aux Folles to be like singing because Santos looks like he's a throwback from La Cage aux Folles. You know, he does. He doesn't even make sense.
The question is, they didn't put him in cuffs. Why didn't they put him in cuffs? I want to see cuffs.
My question is, who voted for him? Voted for him and have such lack of self-awareness and such little perception of human beings that they voted for him. Yo, this man went on a shopping sprees. He was like, what did he have? His little Gucci shoes on. Those are like $800. You could see he lied about everything. You know, we're at the time of the liar's paradise, right? They all lie. They just lie and they get in. And who's the girl? Who's the girl for Kevin McCarthy? That dumb one. In New York, who still supports him. She endorsed him. Simovich, or what was her name? The little dark-haired girl who tried to she got Liz Cheney's role.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she took Liz Cheney's. She kicked Liz to the curb because she all about Eved her. So, yeah, she had a baby couple. She's a horrible young woman. She tried to be like the squad for the Republicans. She's sick, but yeah, basically Elise Stefanik.
Stefanik. I got that all wrong. That's how much I care about.
She hasn't come out so far to say or whatever, and they're not going to. There's so many cowards in the House of Representatives of the Republicans.
Oh, it's a shame.
They're disgusting.
So I hear. Look at this. It says George Santos confesses to theft in Brazil to avoid prosecution.
When did he to send it back there?
Bye.
Deport him. Take away his rights to be an American citizen. Deport his.
And send his dress with him. Because he dressed up.
You went there. You went there.
No, it's so true.
I did. Because you shouldn't lie. You lied about that too. Yes, you did dress up. Just admit to it. There are people that admit to it. Admit to it, you did it.
It's true, but he's a little bit a part of that whole fringe universe of youngish people in millennials in their 30s who are like Ali Alexander, you know, the Sammy Davis Jr. reject, the one who looks like a Sammy Davis Jr. who helped plan the insurrection. I mean, it's like, oh my God, you know, this is crazy. And then you have this one who rolls up like, you know, he's everything. He is everything everybody accused him of being. And he was okay about it. He's okay. And actually, the Republican Party is okay with him.
Yes, so that's you're reading my alleged mind. They still have him in the party.
They do.
Because they need his vote.
That vote. I mean, that's a part of Kevin McCarthy's problem. And I think MGT or MTG, you know, since she really runs Kevin McCarthy does nothing. I mean, he just wanted to. He is a
He's just a puppet. He's a puppet. They got the strings.
Because MTG, she's running the show. She is. She's totally putting them all in. Yeah. Oh, is it Marjorie? Yeah.
Oh, is it Taylor Green or Green? Taylor Green, MTG.
Two toes. That's why I go through
Lauren Boebert as well. She's just standing right beside her.
That's how I know it's a T, because I know toes. So, you know, she's the worst toes. Toes look like fingers. They're doing like this.
Oh my goodness.
You know, she tried to bury him in the sand when she was here with some event. She was here with Matt Gaetz or something. And she tried to bury your feet in the sand so people can't see what you got going on.
Jill.
That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Those things women do look. It's sorry. Patty LaBelle here.
Petty LaBelle or Petty LaBelle, not Patty LaBelle, right? Petty LaBelle.
Yeah.
Petty LaBelle. That's your new name for her? Petty LaBelle.
It's really just a tragedy to see how far the country slides. And I really feel like every day they keep unraveling things. It's like Jenga. And the saddest part of all is that, we don't even have what's his name again? Merrick Garland.
You've forgotten his name? Oh, you're not 100%.
I know he's doing whatever, but he can't keep up. He can't keep up with this flow. This flow has got him. I know. Right. And you remember we're waiting on Fani to get her stuff together in July, but you know what'll probably happen? She'll probably get voted out before July happens, because why she had to make a major announcement about, I'm going to indict Trump in July. Like, just do it. Like, who comes and tells everybody what's in your grocery bag? Just come, bring the food out here. We're having pasta. But she did that and makes a big show. See, that's the thing. Democrats roll up and make a big show about it all. Yeah. And then they come out and you're like, what is that? That's not, that isn't right. They make a big production and a big show because they want to hit home with their selling point. And sometimes it just falls flat. And so the concern is, girl in Georgia, they have been working in their legislative branches to get rid of you. Girl, why are you coming out? Indict him. What? Right? What are you doing now that you couldn't do, that you have to do in July that you can't do now? So I don't like this. Like,
what's your strategy out there anyway? That's what's so stupid. Like, oh, we got something on you.
Exactly. I know. It's called, when they breadcrumb us to death. Democrats will breadcrumb us to death, and then they'll say, like, we're going to have a really great celebration. And then you find out, this isn't a great celebration. It's like, are you guys serving liquor here? And they ain't even serving it. There's no champagne. There's no liquor. It's like, it's just a party. Yeah, because what it is there's too many people that want to be featured in the takedown. And that's the problem. I still think they need to elevate people like Dan Goldman for this task and these fights that are coming, because I know he's wicked smart and he's got some daggers that he knows how to throw. But some other people need to sit out. Like AOC, she's always side railing stuff. And at this point, I don't need her sidebar going. And it's just not fair. There's people like, girl, we don't need this argument right now. But she's getting the media's attention, and she drains the air oxygen because we can't keep our stories right. You notice the Somalian girl and the other ones kind of like on lock, but something about AOC is, I believe she might have been advised to kind of get it, and she won't do it. I get a feeling that she's a little bit, I'm going to do it my own way, blah, blah, blah. Right. But she really got voted in herself too. She better watch it. Her district is changing, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her district is about to come under play based upon the kid that got strangled, because the Bronx, they need to get their together. And if they really want to turn around, like what is going on, that's where they need to be. Because I know that program, because I know somebody whose brother is in it, and it's ineffective and it's a big money drain. So pretty bad.
Okay. All right. Our last conversation piece for the night. And I think we're going to be talking about this more and more as the new month comes up. The risk of default looms amid debt ceiling stalemate. Now I know, was it McCarthy, Jeffries, who else? Oh, what's his name? Mitch McConnell. And the president of the United States had a meeting about 2 weeks ago. They're supposed to have another meeting this week. They postponed it. say, but what do we feel like as January 1st looms closer?
June 1st.
June 1st. Are we going to have a default of
Yes.
America?
Yes.
Yes. We had it once before. This is going to be bad.
This will be very bad. So much so that I've actually emailed the newsletter.
What?
Make money move.
LaLa,
now.
Your reception's a little bit wonky.
Oh.
Yeah. Can you repeat what you just said?
I have actually advised all of my clients, don't make any big money moves. Sit where you are right now, protect your money, and be very cautious because your home is your biggest investment. And yep. I know I get a lot of flack from that, from a lot of agents. I'm not like the other agents. I'm not this hard sell person. I never have been. I don't want to be the next millionaire agent on the TV show. So I have actually, and people appreciate that because you need to sit where you are right now. We are in trouble. We are no longer in power. Our dollar means nothing in the whole wide world of this. People are going against us. People are putting their money other places. And now we're getting ready to default. And look at all the people that we owe who just may come in and say, I think it's time to cash in. I need you to sit still.
Yeah. Because I think this is maybe the turnover where the GOP really is doing their work for Putin and China. And they're really doing it. Like you've got the Rand Pauls and all those people. You got to sometimes look at the people who are being the most quiet for me. I don't often look at the people who are being the most verbal during these things. It's the one being suspiciously quiet because it's like, why am I not hearing from Mr. Chirp Chirp Kentucky? I'm going to
Rand Paul.
Right. And it's because, or Corbyn, or whatever their names are. These are people who showed their allegiance to Russia before. And there are people who can benefit. They will benefit. This is really going to take us down. But this was the goal. And Trump actually has advised all of them not to follow or align with any Dems. Because the reality is DeSantis is not going to be their guy. No matter what they say, it's going to be Trump. He's going to run, and he's already advised his party, do not do X, Y, and Z. So when that's just how it's going to be, and it's going to be bad. And I agree. Hang on to your coins, and maybe you may not want to pay your bills automatically right away until you see and pay them manually right now. Anything coming in on June, you better shut it down now, just to see what you might need to be doing.
And do not put all of your money in one bank. Do not do it. These banks are crashing. And here's another thing. They let that one big one be talked about, but there are about 5 or 6 other ones that are not being talked about that have crashed and been bought out.
And of course, what happens there is the big banks just get bigger.
Yeah,
that's right. They're lining up to be the big corporation machines.
What's his JP Morgan Chase? Is that Jamie Dimon?
Yeah, but it's like this is the problem. Then it gets broken up again because it's a monopoly. And so, but we still go through the rigmarole where they get enough time to play with people's money. And it's really bad. This is all a ruse. And every time, see, what amazes me now is like in 2008, you got to think about it. Since 2008, Republicans been hitting that cash bank for hard. Every year, they've devised a way to loot the American economy. Ever since the bank thing. But what's interesting is they used to only do it when they were in power. But now they figured out how to make Congress and weaponize it so that they can loot it. And they want in order for the debt ceiling situation to happen, to do something to our Social Security. And I got to say, you take my Social Security, we got another problem, and it's going to be big. And it has nothing to do with that. This is some bull. Then don't be taking out of people's checks. End it tomorrow. Stop it off the bat. But that's what they want to do. And guess what? Let's be honest. Democrats aren't that innocent either. Look at how they make money trading. Look at how they're getting rid of dumping their stock. You know, I'm sure Dianne Feinstein woke up for that. You know, shingles or no shingles. He's trading stock
I from where I sit, I blame both parties. So first of all,
blame
the
them
Democrats, there is overspending. They come back, but first Bush, ever since he came in, there have been so many tax advantages for the rich.
Yeah.
Right. I think one of the big challenges with America, from where I sit, is that the rich don't pay enough taxes.
I know they don't. And wait. Yeah.
I do want to jump on another thing. I'm sure you ladies know that the IRS is increasing their ranks of collectors. They're not coming after the rich. They're coming after the middle class and poor people.
No, they can't. They didn't.
I've been audited 3 times.
Actually, they didn't. Yeah, me too. And they didn't increase them. They didn't increase them because that is something where I do align with the Republicans on. I'm sorry, because if it keeps going the way it's going, I'm sorry to say, I'm going to vote with my pocket in mind, because I mean, what am I fighting for? I'm 60 years old. I mean, really, honestly, it's nice and noble to be like, oh, wow, civil rights, this, that. But at the end of the day, even I'm kind of sick of like looking at people getting arrested here and then seeing that a guy who shot a cop gets only 10 years. I'm sorry. Yeah. Then I go, what the actual, I don't give a about this stuff. I want to enjoy my life, but I don't want to like sit up here and have to deal with the Democrats holier than thou. Let's let 50,000 people come through. Like, what have you done for me lately? Like, seriously, last year, Newsom said he had a surplus of money. Then we were going to have reparations. And then yesterday he said we're $32 billion with a deficit. So I can't keep up anymore. So it's kind of like, you trying to play me? Like, I can't handle it. So the reality is I will be voting like I do, the way I do. And it's going to be with me in mind, with me. And that's what the Republicans are counting on. This is the thing. Democrats have lost the plot because they keep wanting us to be like, come on, we're going to wade in this water and we're going to feel real good. The water's up to my nose and the roof is this, and I can't breathe. And Janet Yellen still got a job at 80 and I don't have one. Right. Come on, everybody. I can't handle it. I got to save me and my family. And I think I'm not the only one saying this. So Democrats better straighten up and fly right, as that song goes. Because it's wrong. They've been taking too many crazy stances. Why do I have to deal with the culture wars of trans stuff and it's hitting the news? Can we just table that for a minute? It's not something that's going to hold us. It's money. Money rules the world. That's the first thing we give a shit about. End of story. End of story. And stop trying to be the party pretending like you give a shit about my bank account and my money. And then I'll vote. Because that's what Republicans are doing, crazy or not.
LaLa, anything you want to add as we close, LaLa?
No, I'm totally on board with all that. I just really I can't get that message across. You need to be protecting your money now.
Yeah. And you know.
And that means you need to put some in your mattress, put it in your mattress, because it's that time.
So Black Beauty says, I love the fact that the ladies take time to do their fact-based research in presenting the answers to the issues, as well advising people to basically have a backup plan, e.g. the economy. Well, you need to have a backup plan, definitely, especially, and even in Canada, I know that if there's a default in the U.S., it's going to impact not only U.S., but Canada too.
They say 750,000 jobs will be lost, but the reality is if 750,000 jobs get lost, it will impact like dominoes across the world. Yeah. So this will be a world economic disaster for people. Yeah. You want to tell me y'all want to keep putting my head about immigrants trying to come across the border and y'all can't manage that? Come on.
Yeah.
Don't play I don't want to hear it. We give you our taxes so you take care of that stuff and don't don't, no. And that's why Americans are so angry. That's why we've been played and duped into believing all this stuff. But don't try to play like you really give it. Don't Democrats, because you really don't. Y'all can't even get on board. And then the progressives want to be so crazy about stuff. It's like, I can't go all the way left like that. I'm like, can we just have a common sense argument here and try to make some inroads? And we've got the crazy far right. There's what happened to the rest of us in the middle. We're getting caught with the fray, and it's really like, it's disgusting because it's destroyed America.
It really is.
Okay. On that note, we have called it another epic conversation. It's called State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. Aisha was not with us tonight, but as you can tell, Jill and LaLa were. And as always, we'd like to say thank you for them taking their time and giving their takes, always their takes with us. But as always, we want to find out how we can get in contact with them, especially how can we get in contact with Jill. But first of all, let's go to LaLa first. LaLa, how can we get in touch with you?
You can find me everywhere as Realty Goddess.
Excellent.
Nice.
The real fun one now is, how do you get in contact with Jill Jones?
I don't know if they don't ban me from all my platforms. I'm at Jill Jones Music on Instagram and Jill D. Jones Twitter. And then my last thing I want to say is, for those employers who want to keep moaning about illegals who are here, do it the right way. Sponsor people the right way. Isn't that what y'all keep telling us? If you want people to come and work for you, you apply the right way, like everybody else has to do. And that goes for people with their maids and their this and their that. We have a serious problem. We have homelessness. We have people who can't get apartments. We have illegal people living in apartments, and American citizens sleeping on the street, or Vietnam vets. This is wrong. If you go back and look at an old TV show, any of the old ones, like what was the one with Martin Sheen? The White House movie.
Yeah.
That he was in.
Yeah.
These same topics were the same topics the writers in those shows wrote about. And here's my point. These are like just recycled, and we're here to tell you it never gets better. It just gets worse. And props out to all of those writers who write in some of the best series, some of the series that aren't, I'm not talking about the crappy ones, but those writers out there on strike and everybody in their unions. I hear that it's going to expand to more unions, and kudos to the Starbucks that got to unionize recently somewhere. I think it was in LA, but kudos. It's very important that people really stand the up, seriously, and not just for some nonsense. I'm not talking about, we're going to burn down our neighborhood and whatever, because that became a little bit much too. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest.
Jill, you see what happens when you're away for a week?
I had a lot of it was in my head a lot,
Right.
about all these things. And like I said, thanks to all our people who listen and constantly tune in. You can't imagine. I just want to say one thing. I hope that the people, like our fans and people who tune in, our watchers, get out and enjoy life a little bit, because these are really precious. The time that you do have, make it special. This is going to continue to be. And it's just we got to finally just not be so tuned in to giving them all the attention that they want, that they think they want.
Okay. I think that's a wrap. I don't think anything else needs to be said. I think that Jill Jones wrapped it all up. So how do you get in contact with me? I'll tell you how you get in contact with me if I can find it. Okay. You can get in contact with me via these things. Ways. The drvibeshow.com. That is website. You can email me, dr@the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter @drvibeshow. And Instagram @the drvibeshow. And I'm just trying to find one more thing here So just give me a minute. There we go. Yes, you can watch replays of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show on the website. So that's it. That's all. We miss you, Aisha. We hope you're feeling better. But as always, we're going to close out with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. And we look forward to seeing you. Follow us, all of us on the platforms. Wherever you see our names, follow us because we want to hear from you and you want to hear from us. Be well, keep the faith. God bless, walk good. Oh, did I say that? Did I say live your life as a dream? If you can dream, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. If I said it twice, hey, no worries. I think you'll want to hear it twice anyways, especially managing your energy and giving yourself grace. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith, and walk good.